getting stuff ready to go here. And hit that. Hi. So we'll give folks a chance to hop on the old stream here. Actually, I gotta hit this first. Okay. Facebook. All right, we'll give some folks a chance to hop on here. You may have noticed the tornado watch had popped up earlier. It actually popped up literally. I was in the middle of the 7 o'clock weather segment, and we did the first graphic, which was the basic radar display, and with that, the tornado watch was back here by Owensboro. Okay. And then the graphic popped up later that featured the watch more specifically. Actually, it was part of a flood watch graphic. And at that point, all the new counties had got added. So during the initial minute there of the weather segment there at 7, they popped this tornado watch up, and it was for the storms that were coming out of Middle Tennessee. They had tornado warnings associated with them. There was at least one report of a tornado on the ground near the rest area, the Welcome Center, the Kentucky-Tennessee line, on the good side of the border. So that was one of the storms earlier, but that's moved into a less hospitable environment, and these storms have basically wrung themselves out. So there's not much going on with these. That was not the main event by any stretch. That was just kind of a little bit added extra. So our radar, these are not going to be the biggest storms around, so our coverage out toward Paducah, you're not going to be able to see them straight up on our radar. But with that, you can see the various warnings that are flashing. It's a pretty solid line. You've got some of the ones that are shaded in purple. Those are confirmed tornadoes, so that means that, yeah, we've got a tornado on the ground. So that's out in the Paducah area. Got one headed right toward Paducah. Expanded out even further. Again, there's just a whole solid line of tornado warnings. So we'll get to all that coming up. Now, that's still a long way from us. From Lexington to the closest tornado warning, which is, that storm's not going to come our way, but you're 160 miles away, and if it were coming at us at 40 miles an hour, obviously that's 4 hours away. It's not coming straight at us. So it's the stuff that would be down toward Murray. So how far away is that? That's 200 some miles away. Storms are a long way off. It's now 9 o'clock. We're talking 2, 3 o'clock for a lot of this, and it'll be a little different atmospheric environment when they do get here. So it's not, we've been saying it all day, and actually saying it for a couple of days, that the threat is greater to our west, and it is. They are in for a nasty couple of hours out there in western Kentucky, where you can see again the warnings are going on out there. I can flip over and show you, maybe get a little better. Well, actually, I'll show them to you on the national, more the regional perspective. Let me pop back over. All right, so let's talk about again the risk that's out there. It's from the Storm Prediction Center. So again, you see how the delineations go here. You're going from the high risk out here by Paducah, moderate risk Owensboro, Louisville, slight risk Central Kentucky down toward Lake Cumberland, and basically then getting to a marginal as we go further and further off to the east. Actually, I popped up the tornado risk and not even the actual risk, but that's going to equate to the same things. If I were to show you that one. Again, just a reminder that this is all late night stuff for us. So there is your actual severe storm risk. So you see how it correlates out. Same thing. So when we're talking about the tornado risk, where you'll see that pop back up again here, when all else fails, read the banner. The 3 in 10 shot, a 1 in 3 shot, basically 25 miles any given point around Paducah, that there is a tornado possible. 10% chance, again, 25 miles any given point. The number decreases to a 15%. Louisville and Owensboro, Bowling Green, Lexington, Danville, Liberty, around Lake Cumberland, it's a 10%. So again, the storms that are going strong here are weakening here, weakening more here, weakening more here. And so it's just how fast does that happen. So it's a similar situation to what we saw on Sunday, where the storms were going large to our west and basically running out of gas as they got to us. We had the closest tornado Sunday was Spencer County, so halfway between Lawrenceburg and Louisville is where that one was, Mount Eden. So again, the strong tornado risk, not just a little spin up 0-1, which again caused damage, but now you're getting into the real life-threatening 2s, 3s, and 4 potential. So again, that's the 10% chance any given point, and it's the same idea here. Storms will be going much better, much bigger out there, lesser here, lesser here, lesser here. But as my wife just asked, what's the tornado chance? It's small for Lexington and Danville, but it's not zero. And if the storms are able to hold together, the possibility of a stronger storm does exist. Not only that, you also have the potential of not just severe level winds, 57 miles per hour or greater, but possibility of hurricane force winds, 74 miles per hour or greater. Same idea, 10% chance, 25 miles from any given point. That does cover, well, basically what was the slight risk of, or about the enhanced risk of severe storms. So, future track. And we're actually looking at the HRRR with this, the high resolution rapid refresh. Updates every hour. It's doing an okay job. It had some of that convection coming out of Middle Tennessee earlier, and you can see by 11 o'clock it basically has washed it out. The main squall line at that point is approaching Louisville. We get you to 12 and 1 o'clock. The squall line itself is in Louisville, then back toward E-Town. So again, now we're in the hours after midnight. Gets into central Kentucky. There's 2, there's 3, and what the HRRR is telling you here is that there are going to be pockets where there are still probably something resembling supercells with this. How quickly are these going to weaken? I mean, it's still going to rain a lot, and there's still going to be thunderstorms, but how quickly do they go sub-severe? And so for that reason, we've got all the advisories we've talked about. We've got the watches that are up for the 127 corridor and west. You know, when we're talking, there was the state of emergency was issued by the governor earlier. It's going to be worse out here than it is over here, as a general rule for this particular event. So yeah, it's statewide, but again, it's worse west, and the heavier rain threat is also more up toward the Ohio Valley than areas. In fact, southeast Kentucky may come in with just an inch or 2 of rain, which is still a lot of rain, but compared to what we may be seeing in the west, it is a totally different game. By 4 in the morning, the storms have gone through a weakening phase, and they're just rainmakers at that point. Well, there's thunderstorms, but again, should be sub-severe by 7. We saw the high wind gusts today. Just a little bit of perspective here with the rainfall. If we're generalizing, Lexington is a 3 to 5 inch, 6 inch rain. We'll do 5 as a kind of an average. That's more than we would normally see in the entire month of April. And we're places out in western Kentucky where double-digit rain's a possibility. There you see what we get for the normal spring season, March, April, and May. So it's almost a season's worth of rain in basically a weekend. So let's take you back on the radar here, and we'll show you how things have developed. The purple that you see with that particular watch is called a PDS, particularly dangerous situation. And you see how that is West Kentucky, West Tennessee, almost to Nashville, northern Mississippi. But again, a solid array of warnings that run from basically near Fort Wayne, well, from Kokomo, Indiana. The tornado warnings start near Evansville, still west of Owensboro, coming through Paducah, down toward Murray, and then more tornadic storms in West Tennessee. So again, this is a powerful system, no two ways around that. And storms are coming northeast. the entire line is moving east, but again, not at a particularly quick rate. Um, and so it'll take a while before it gets here. Like I said, we're talking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for a lot of this. So obviously, it's going to be a very late night here in the Storm Tracker Weather Center, mostly because we're down to 2 people. Both Bane and Tom are off, so you've got Emily and I that will take you through the storm sequence as we go through the weekend. Now, we were talking about, or we didn't talk about what we did talk about on the newscast, how this is going to come through in waves. It is not a monolithic, here comes severe storms that arrive late Wednesday night and Thursday morning, and they're here until Sunday. It's not going to be like that. What we're going to see is waves of these strong storms with many dry hours interspersed. Now, there are not going to be many of them tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, is the wettest of the day. So again, this is looking actually not at the HRRR. This is the our BAMS, our in-house model. Same idea. Storms weaken as they approach central Kentucky, but still could be formidable. By 10 o'clock, you notice the front is here, and the front puts the brakes on. So southeast Kentucky, you're not getting much out of this at all, at least this particular wave. But areas in the I-64 corridor, Bluegrass Parkway, Mountain Parkway, you're getting more rain than areas to the southeast. So there's 3 o'clock. We've still got the rain around. Could be some stronger storms. A severe risk is around again tomorrow. Not as high end as today, or doesn't have as high a ceiling as today does, but there still is a severe weather risk tomorrow. Front hangs around. As we roll then from Thursday into Friday, next wave comes up. It brings with it its attendant rain and thunderstorms. Once it goes by, another lull. And then we wait for the next storm in the sequence. That one's going to come through. That one comes through on Saturday. And with it, we'll get, again, dry time, but we'll get another round of thunderstorms that come along with that. Those actually have a chance to start ramping up the severe potential again, maybe more than just garden variety with that final push on Saturday. And then it just gets really cold after that. So again, with the big picture here, we'll just run the radar through. And I know the questions are going to be, what about my house? What about my town? What time? Final pieces of advice. Keep a severe weather, keep an information source handy, first and foremost. That either being the Storm Tracker weather app, that being a NOAA weather radio, any of those things. Just something that can wake you up in the middle of the night if needed. And the nice thing with the polygons from the Weather Service now for the warnings, instead of just doing entire counties, is that it is more specific. Stamping, yeah. So, will Boyle get put in a tornado watch? Probably. Later on. We've got to wait for these storms to kind of clear the first watch and get to the second watch. And yes, there is hail potential as well. The hail potential for the storms in western Kentucky, 2 inches or bigger. So you're talking hen egg or larger. So you're talking, you can get golf ball, hen egg, lemon, lime, or bigger. So those are true traditional supercells there. For us, that threat may be diminished, but it's still there. Will it be weakening by the time it gets to Owingsville? Yeah, and it probably doesn't get to Owingsville until 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Can barely hear me. With the kids at school time, there's going to be storms around, but we should be out of the worst of this in terms of the severity. We keep our sleeves down and the tie is in place. If I were on TV, the jacket would be on as well. We maintain a professional look here. Flooding in East Central, there is a risk, but it's not as high as places to the west. This is much more of a western Kentucky, Ohio River event, I think, than for areas in east and southeast Kentucky. We could see wind gusts, by definition, severe is 57 or greater. And so that is certainly on the table. And again, if the storms hold together a little longer, you could push 60 and 70 mile per hour winds. Okay, he's in Owensboro. Storms aren't in Owensboro yet. So there's Owensboro. So they're more up toward Evansville. Um, but again, they're getting close to Owensboro. If you're worried about that percentage chance for Scott County, we'll put that up here. Oh, I didn't want that. Wrong thing. All right. So again, the percentages. And again, this comes from the Storm Prediction Center. Take it for whatever you will. By definition, what these are: 25 miles from any given point within the particular shadings is a 10% chance of a tornado. And so most of central Kentucky is in that 10% realm. That arcs then down toward Lake Cumberland. The more east and south you go, those percentages decrease. When you get to Louisville, it's a 15% chance. Again, 25 miles from any given point. So that's across a county or so. And then by the time you get to Paducah, I mean, 30% is huge. That's a number that doesn't get bandied around much. And the potential that those storms could also be higher end, that potential still exists as well. Eastern Kentucky, again, threats are overall less and won't be until probably closer to tomorrow morning. There's no way to tell if Boyle's going to have a tornado or not, or any specific county. You can't do it right now. The tornado warnings, they're short fused for a reason. Is the potential there? Sure. It will be the potential will be enhanced if and when a watch is issued. But Boyle County doesn't have one. The only counties right now in central Kentucky, in our viewing area, that have a tornado watch: Franklin and Anderson until 2. If you want to talk our fringe counties, Washington, Marion, Taylor also until 2 for that tornado watch. Pulaski's more toward morning. Again, the more east you are, the more toward morning. So again, we'll ballpark this. Oop, thought I grabbed. Oh, no, it's because I'm not in the show. I'm just showing you a graphic. I'm not in the technical show. So, all right, now I am. I think. There we are. So, Louisville Metro down through this direction, midnight-ish. Lexington, Danville that way, you're talking 2, 3 o'clock. Eastern Kentucky, you get toward Cave Run, Somerset, probably closer to 4, 5. And again, the storms, which will be exceptionally strong out here as they are coming east, will indeed be weakening. Now, do they weaken below severe? That I cannot tell you yet. It's moving into a less hospitable environment. The storms we saw last Sunday, they were going, well, we end up with 5 tornadoes out in this area. They basically ran out of gas on a line about like that. We were seeing still spin on the radar when we were in here, but we had nothing confirmed in terms of damage. The church that was damaged, I don't even believe it was from one of those cells up in Georgetown. So that's the setup. And Melissa, while you are getting ready to go get some sleep, have a way to wake yourself up if needed. Have that Storm Tracker weather app handy, ready to go. Have a NOAA weather. If you don't have a NOAA weather rating, you may want to get one. Have the TV on in the background. And let's say I'm not in Paducah's feed. That's a lovely sound. So whoever had the husband in Owensboro, if he hears any of the sirens or if on his device, if it gets a warning, take shelter, because I'm looking at some of the chat going on, and that storm, which would be, let's see, I'm not in. Oh, I am. Okay. Storm is outright in this area. is showing a really good radar signature. So again, let your husband know. Beattyville, you're talking toward morning. Eastern Kentucky, again, toward morning, but there is a severe thunderstorm chance tomorrow. And that chance tomorrow is area-wide. The chances tomorrow, severe weather by itself is a dangerous thing. You're talking winds close to 60 miles an hour. You can have large hail. But the threshold tomorrow is here. The threshold tonight for these storms out in western Kentucky is up here. And so you've got a higher ceiling for the threat for areas to the west, and it's how quickly are those storms going to weaken through the course of the night by the time they get to us. And if they weaken quickly, then we get garden variety storms and a lot of rain. If they are able to hold on a little bit longer, and we're talking the space of maybe 20 miles, 30 miles, maybe an hour extra, then you still have that risk for some higher end severe weather. Dry Ridge, again, same idea. You're looking toward 2 o'clock, and you are in that same boat as Lexington and Danville and Harrodsburg and Versailles and Paris. Casey does not have a watch right now. Let's pop up on let's go back to the radar. This is where I need the big announcer voice. Meanwhile, back at the radar. So here we go. We'll pop that in. So the storm, this is the storm that I was just, whoever had the husband in Owensboro, that's the storm to be worried about. But it's still technically in Illinois. In terms of being away from Owensboro, it is about 50 miles. So obviously there are 3 counties away from a warning, maybe 2. So 2 warnings away. But again, for folks out there, they need to be aware of what's going on. Again, your solid line of storms out by Paducah, we're seeing those storms that are out there as well. We can do a couple other things here real quick. One of the things, well, showing you the time of arrival using the radar, or the virtual radar. But let's go ahead and instead of showing you the reflectivity, let's talk about, well, let's talk about storm food. So you're going to just ignore the legend over here because I popped a parameter up that the legend didn't follow. So let's give you a better, see if we can get a better color palette. Apparently I can't. I'm given 1. So again, you're seeing those darker greens. So that's the storm food availability. It's decreasing, but it's still there. So let's go to a different parameter. Let's get a little more into detail. Let's look at updraft helicity. So this is the tendency for the storm's updraft, the thunderstorm's updraft, to have spin. Okay, so that is the model's trying to figure out where is the best chance of seeing something spinning. Now, you know, you're seeing that increase there, Spencer County, Shelby County, toward 3:30 and 4 o'clock. So you don't take it verbatim that that's where something's going to be, but what we say is somewhere in this neighborhood, you know, you've got the potential for a storm with a rotating updraft. Whether or not it's even surface based, you know, again, given this atmosphere, probably would be, and you see that those basically decrease as we get you into tomorrow morning. But there could be a nice little ramp up, 2, 3 o'clock. Yeah, just so you know, because it is going to be a very late night. Bill did have a Celsius a little while ago, so I don't drink coffee, and needed a little pop. So that'll keep me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed till well after midnight. There's a pop our radar back up. Well, I think I can show you a couple other things here with the besides updraft helicity. I was trying to show you CAPE. Not that. There we go. Okay, so again, this is all off the HER model. The energy helicity index. Oh, I know what I can show you. Let's get into the deeper water here. So we're going to find the HER. There it is. Okay. So this is pulling off something called Weather Bell, but we get that into our Barron system here. So we can look at the supercell composite. Again, ignore the legend over here on the top right. So this is the supercell composite based off the HER. So it's taking a bunch of parameters, putting them together, and obviously the more orange and red, the higher the values. So there's 12 and 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But you notice as we get you to 2, it's getting smaller and not as intense. By 2:30, now remember that one cell that we were showing you trying to pop there in Shelby County with the EHI? Well, look at that just south of Frankfurt. Again, based off of modeling. So it's not going to be exactly there, but it gives you a reason to, hey, let's say like, hey, look here. And you notice then by 3 and 4 that basically all that stuff goes away. So there's some cool stuff to look at. So that was the supercell composite. We did updraft helicity. We can do snow accumulation, but that's not going to show anything. There's again the updraft helicity track. So again, same idea. That was how things correspond with each other. So one model sees it that way, and there we go. Well, again, it's not going to be necessarily a quiet night. We're coming up on 9:40 here. Okay, Richmond. We'll try and broad brush this as best we can here. We'll go back to the risks. One of my poker friends texted, I've scared people. Oh gosh, I don't want to do that. No, but I do want you to be informed. I want you to be ready. But no, not scared. And so again, you're seeing for Lexington, we're in, well, there's a tornado risk. We're in the enhanced risk, so that's level 3, I guess. But with it, again, the storms will be worse to our west. They arrive in Louisville midnight-ish, give or take an hour. Lexington, Danville, 2 to 3-ish. Eastern Kentucky, it gets later into the night. They'll be weakening as they move east. So again, I'm not going to go through every single county because we have 48 of them. But you get the idea. If you're in and around Lexington, it's around 2-ish, and there is a severe weather threat. If you're around Danville, same idea. If you're around Moorhead, it's closer to probably 4 o'clock, and your threat is less than Lexington. Same for Somerset, London, Corbin, it's less, and you also have a lot less rain going into the southeast as well. The more west you are, if you're back toward Bardstown, you still have the possibility of some stronger storms, stronger than what we may see in Lexington. And that timing would be closer to 12, 1 o'clock. And so that's, again, the overall setup. Again, just to emphasize the fact that stay weather aware. Storms will come in waves, so again, there'll be blank spots in between where the weather is decent. Backtrack, we've got just some light rain. This is nothing. That back here to the west is something. So let me reply to Mike here real quick. They're worried about school tomorrow, picking up kids. Don't worry about that right now. This is not what it may be raining tomorrow morning, but I think the severe weather threat for Lexington is gone. I think we're at a lull, or at least relative. There may be storms around, but I don't know if we're going to have anything severe at that point. We may see some pop up again tomorrow afternoon, but again, it's not going to be the ceiling again is lower tomorrow. We're still going to have storms. It's spring. Tomorrow is also the anniversary of April 3rd, 74, which, my goodness, that is 51 years ago. So to put that in perspective, when I started doing TV weather, which was in 1984, so that was a 10-year-old event for me, but if you take it back to basically from here to then, that would be like an event that happened in the 1930s. So, again, boy, time has flown. But now we're getting philosophical, which we don't need to do on this. Alrighty. Carlisle, same idea. Important. Let's talk about safety here real quick. If your county comes under a tornado warning, You need to get out of a manufactured house, get out of a mobile home. By the way, there's the tornado watch, Franklin and Anderson until 2. Looks like Owen County is on that until 4. So we've got Northern Kentucky now that's been put into a different watch until 4. So I suspect those more counties will be added. Okay, back to the safety thing. 99.9% of mobile homes, manufactured houses, are not designed to take the ferocity of a tornado. They're just not. And I know they've made some inroads and stuff, but it's not a safe place to be. You need to be able to get to a more permanent shelter if a tornado warning is issued for your county. That's a given. That's what we talk about all the time. For the rest, if you're already in a more permanent structure, then there is something that I'll take it off of analysis here. That'll be the quickest way to do it. A quick refresher course here, and we call it CDUC. If you've watched us for any length of time, we've been doing this for over 20 years. The first C there is new. We learned that a few years ago when we were down at the Insurance Institute. And I can't remember, American Insurance Institute. It was down in South Carolina. And they were doing a study. They actually built a house in a wind tunnel. And what they discovered was that if you can compartmentalize a house, close the interior doors, bedroom doors, bathroom doors, closet doors, all the windows, everything else, if you can compartmentalize your house, the chances of it surviving are better than if you have everything open, because what you create then is big wide open spaces where wind can race through. By compartmentalizing, it's like a submarine. You are able to try and mitigate the damage to a smaller area. So again, that's what they found with the study. So that's why we call it CDUC now. Then you want to be downstairs. You get under something big, heavy, sturdy. You want to be under something, under a stairwell, something designed to be strong, to protect you from flying debris. So it's under a table, it's under a staircase. That's actually where we're going in my house, because a staircase is a very strong thing. You also want to, you can be in a bathtub, but again, it's something that can protect you. You want to be in the center of your house, as many walls as you can to the middle. Put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. And that will again help protect you. They're like blockers. And then keep away from windows, doors, and keep a bike helmet nearby if you can. So those things can help you be safe. That's, just as a kind of an example. You'll see this in our little animation here. What's the best place to go? The basement. And if you can get under that staircase, even better. If you don't have the basement, you want to be on the ground floor, and you put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. So it's that interior bathroom is the safest place to be. The secondary one would be that little closet right over in here. That at least gives you another layer of protection. So that's again another option. With that, guys, we're coming up on 9:45, and I still have some work to do. Because back, Martha, why did you crack the windows? Because the old thinking was that it was the difference in air pressure that caused a house to explode. And the thinking was that by opening the window, you help to equalize the pressure, except it doesn't work that way. And so it's that pressure difference doesn't matter. It's the wind that gets in the house and then is able to begin to impact the structure, lifting the roof off of the walls to force them to collapse, that kind of thing. So that's the going thinking. No, you don't want to crack the windows. Most of us will see thunderstorms in central Kentucky later tonight. Keep that information source, whether or not they'll be severe when they get to you. Be weather aware. Simplest solution you can have there. Just be aware of what's going on. Of course, we'll have more for you if you're watching tonight at 11. I'm going to be here in the hours after midnight, so we'll do this again as the storms get a little closer. But just be safe, be smart, be prepared. Think about it now. Think about where your safe spot is. Don't wait until I'm up here saying there's a tornado warning for wherever. And you go, oh my God, here it comes. Think about it now. so that when the time comes, you don't panic. That's a lesson we do with the kids, with Every Weather 101. Because, when you're talking to fourth graders, sometimes they can be home by themselves. They're 10 years old, for short periods of time. Don't want them to be panicking in a severe weather situation. So again, just be safe and keep it on LX 18. And we'll keep you informed as these storms do get closer. And remember, there's only one station that has the MaxTrack Live Doppler, the most powerful and accurate live Doppler in the state of Kentucky, which looks something like, oh, it's so much for the big finish. There it is. There's the MaxTrack Live Doppler. So again, there are the storms sitting out here to our west. If you wanted to look at them real quick with the Louisville radar, we just keep finding new things to do here. So there is the tornado that hit in McCracken County. But again, this is coming off the Louisville radar. When they're looking at stuff, I need to take the lightning off of this. That storm relative, this is still quite a ways away from the Louisville radar as well. So out there by Mount Vernon, Illinois. Your husband there in Owensboro, whoever that person was again, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, one county over from Davis. That looks like you're seeing a real good circulation out there by Paducah. So again, that's the setup, and again, how far away the storms are from us. So with that, we've done enough weather geekiness here. Again, we will probably do one of these again sometime after midnight. But go to bed. It's okay. We'll get through all this. Just again, keep the information source handy. Best advice I can give you, and just know where your safe spot is and know it now, so that if the worst does happen, if you need to get to shelter, you do it immediately, and you know what to do, and you don't panic. Panic is the bad thing. Preparation is the good thing. I need to be writing Hallmark cards right now. So again, we'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock on the TV, and we'll see you back here sometime in the after midnight hours here at LAX 18. Well, so much for the big finish again. Here at LAX 18.